It turned out that Hungary qualified, so it was moot. But it was very exciting on the individual day in advance of the team. Same situation here.
Yeah, so we got Miguel Pagiev on floor duties for this final, and it's Regis Troy de Avila of Brazil on the video. Now, a little bit more patience from both of them at the start of this fight compared to their semi-finals. Distance is wider, both wanting to just have that little bit of a cushion of an extra half a step away from each other.
It's a similar situation for REIZLIN because he was pushed by El Sayed in the semifinals. It's the same thing here. He's very comfortable in his side of the piste, and he loves the blade, as we saw. Oof.
There's a flick over the top of the guard there.
Yep. Let's watch this. Boomf. But as we saw in the semi-final, SIKLOSI has scored many touches on the wrist of the arm to Alimjanov, so watch for him to do the same.
Yeah, but that's going to be very dependent on whether REIZLIN puts his hand anywhere near SIKLOSI.
And that's true. It takes two to tango. You're right about that. Referee moves him to the center of the piste.
Yeah, just because they're a bit close to the edge, and there's no real extra runoff here. There's no additional 30-40 centimetres on the side of the piste. So if you go off the edge of the piste, you are going to drop, what, a foot and a half?
There it is. Hit him on the wrist.
So it's world number 3 and world number 4 up against each other here, but SIKLOSI has the World Championship medal, gold medal to his name at the last World Championships. He is the reigning world champion, winning on home soil in Budapest.
So 2 of the 3 touches that REIZLIN has scored. SIKLOSI's been pushing since the beginning, and 2 times REIZLIN just got him unaware, and that's got to make SIKLOSI think twice because he's gotten hit really just pushing. He's got to be a little busier maybe, or slightly longer distance, because he does have the reach advantage here.
Amazing, these two have only met once in senior international competition at the Buenos Aires World Cup in 2019, and it was REIZLIN that won that one, 15-10. Just narrowed up a little bit the distance here.
SIKLOSI finally allowed REIZLIN to take his blade, and he paid the price right there.
So a minute's break for the pair of them. A gentle start, one has to say. They stayed away from each other very early doors, but as soon as the pop can was open, it got pretty fizzy pretty quickly in here. Jeff, your thoughts about who's going to do what coming out for the second period?
Well, SIKLOSI has gotten hit twice while pushing quite easily on his preparation. I look for him to continue to do that, but he's got to mix it up a little bit. I don't think REIZLIN has really felt uncomfortable in the entire first period there. And SIKLOSI has been successful in not giving his blade to REIZLIN, because we know REIZLIN has that concrete hand. He's so strong. Only on that one last action that he was able to gain SIKLOSI's blade.
And the distance seems to have narrowed up by at least half a step.
Do you think that's to SIKLOSI's advantage?
Well, I think that's probably more to REIZLIN.
I do as well, yeah. So maybe a couple feints to the foot, because REIZLIN has not been made uncomfortable yet. It's only 5-3. It can change in 2 seconds, but it just seems that REIZLIN's more comfortable right now.
Second period underway then. This for the gold medal here in the Men's Epee World Cup in Kazan. Well, they're still at that shorter distance.
It's almost like REIZLIN sets up in his office back there at the end of the piece.
Perhaps it just he has a kind of a very relaxed approach by the looks of things. He doesn't. It looks like almost like he doesn't care. I mean, obviously he does, but he seemed to just get a little bit more involved in that one, and that's not his normal game plan. And then SIKLOSI surprises him with a leveling point-scoring attack.
And as I said at the break, two-touch differential can disappear in 2 seconds. That's exactly what happened there. So REIZLIN says, okay, maybe I'm going to be a little busier, push SIKLOSI a little, because he was getting a little too comfortable, and maybe try to draw him out, look for a riposte.
Yeah, settle down. SIKLOSI not wanting to take any more risks by pushing, and REIZLIN not taking any risks as normal. In contrast to the semi-final, SIKLOSI now not working as much off the blade.
And there's a good reason for that, because it would be a disadvantage for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't get REIZLIN's specialty is blade actions. He has only done one. Double touch. 4-1. SIKLOSI has outscored REIZLIN in the second period.
Well, just stepped off the piece to straighten his weapon there. Just taking his time coming back, having a little think about this, because REIZLIN's actually upped his game a little bit here, and he's starting to look like he's going to go after this a little bit earlier than perhaps we thought. Well, time is about to run out in the second period. A much more tactical battle in that second period. And less hits scored. And that means that there's plenty of room for the scoreline to change in the third period. What are your thoughts?
SIKLOSI changed his tempo a little bit. A couple of quick actions. Like I think he went slow and then made a very quick action and surprised REIZLIN like that. And REIZLIN has to be thinking about this a little bit, because he only scored one touch in that period, and it was a double, and that's not feeling so good. So yeah, REIZLIN closed the distance a little bit there, but as you said earlier, he hasn't given, or SIKLOSI hasn't given REIZLIN the blade, because that's certainly a big advantage for REIZLIN.
Well, I've had the chats with the coaches. They will come back to the piece for the third and final period of this men's Epee World Cup.
So, Karen, REIZLIN likes to set up shop on his side of the piece, but when you're down, at some point you have to start taking chances. It's a little bit early, it's one touch, but he can't just retreat to his end of the piece and be completely passive. He's got to try to do something here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And I think we saw signs of that in the second period. He just didn't want to risk too much too early.
Same as should be the case here.
Showing intent.
I think that intent is with second intent. He's trying to draw SIKLOSI out. I don't think he's trying to go for anything, a direct action.
Yep, quite
Like
right.
that.
Yeah, absolutely, quite right. Just look to draw him out there and then pick up the blade. Got away with a double.
Yeah. Nice action by REIZLIN, but it must be really frustrating because SIKLOSI did get the double out of it. REIZLIN set up a perfect action, almost perfect.
Just giving the game away a little bit there. Looking for a big beat. It's a deliberate big beat because he wants to try and draw SIKLOSI out like that.
Wow, SIKLOSI really overcommitted himself a little bit there. Here he comes, and there he missed, and REIZLIN was able to hit. So, Karen, even not trailing now, REIZLIN has decided to push.
Yeah, it's just a mixture of pushing and then opening up the distance. It's all part of the game to lull your opponent into a false sense of security or make them make a mistake on distance. Like that. Just waiting for that to close out. I mean, was that a low ceased or?
Let's take a look, or second. It was second, or 8. So 2 times now, SIKLOSI has really committed himself, and he paid a dear price with 2 touches for REIZLIN.
Yeah, and does SIKLOSI keep up this pressure game intensity with just a minute left? He does, but I'm not sure he'll carry on much longer. And the problem then is SIKLOSI showed in his semi-final that he can come back from what seems to be an impossible deficit.
Now, he was the comeback kid in the semis, but REIZLIN, he gave REIZLIN the blade there, and REIZLIN made him pay. Again.
Just rushing a little bit there from SIKLOSI.
It's amazing. I mean, he was so disciplined, and all of a sudden he's just taken a couple of risks, and REIZLIN has been able to score.
Yeah, it's that strong defense as well
Yeah.
with the blade. Yeah.
Well, it was a nice lunge by REIZLIN, but
always positive. I like that about you, Mr. McCants. Yeah, he just hadn't set anything up there and wasn't ready. So still 2 points in it, under a minute left to go. SIKLOSI is going to maintain the intensity, but this time REIZLIN evades the blade to land his 12th hit. Look at that, just gets his blade out of the way. In close quarters, and there's going to be a card here for SIKLOSI for turning his body and forcing Korokor to avoid getting hit.
Now, once REIZLIN got the lead here, it's almost like he picked up his pace a little bit. And
turnaround from Igor REIZLIN in this third and final period, and now he's able to go back to his A game and just attack into preparation. 1 away from Kazan gold for the Ukrainian.
REIZLIN went for it. He saw an opening. He hit himself in the mask, but he missed.
And there it is. SIKLOSI made one amazing comeback in the semi-finals, but it was not to happen against REIZLIN. REIZLIN takes Kazan gold here, 15-11, but great final. Another great set of semi-finals as well. Here, Jeff, your thoughts?
That was a great bout right there. And you know something, Karen? Sometimes you're just not sure who's going to win. I thought REIZLIN here was the best fencer. SIKLOSI had a great comeback in the semis, but REIZLIN really fenced great today, and he is a fitting gold medalist today. Same as Troy is on the women's side.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's been a good performance from the pair of them throughout the day, and the door opened a little bit for them with so many big seeds going out early doors, but they stuck to their guns. They left competition with when we went into the pandemic as two of the best at the time, certainly the most in form, and they've come back and they're still the most in-form fencers. But congratulations to REIZLIN and to Choi and Jun taking gold here in Kazan. Don't go too far. We're going to have some medal ceremonies coming up a little bit later, so we'll just take a very short break to take a sip of water, and we'll be back for the medal ceremonies very soon.